Hello guys, welcome to another video, and in this one we will be talking about. I actually don't have a topic to talk about, but let's just start with something to better understand the ops and the pros and the cons and why this discussion is important. So first and foremost, what is the discussion that I'm referring to? Okay, so when it comes to the topic of understanding and talking about truth, right, reality, all right, so I think I have explained in my previous videos that the most important thing, or else what what matters to anyone, regardless of where they are from, what they believe, and what they want to believe, all right, is is a sense of purpose. Okay, and why is purpose so important? The sense of purpose is only important as long as we don't find another life form. Okay, the need for a purpose, the need for existence, something that tells you that you are worth it. Okay, something that gives meaning to your life. Okay, this is only important until we find another sentient life form that is at least significantly, at least visually different from what we look like. And until we find that, and until we make first contact, and until we are try our best to understand it and learn about it, okay, until these things are done, we will always have this need for validation, for existence. Okay, and the only reason why this is prevalent in us, or else in human beings, and not in animals as much, is one, because we have not yet found solid ways of communicating, like verbal communication, understanding, stuff like that, uh, across species. And the other thing is, animals always see other species that are different from them, that have different reasons, or else that fill a niche that is needed to take care and take over the, what you say, the the natural order. All right, but we are the only group within this species that think we do not belong to that natural order. Okay, so whereas I do believe, and I do view it like that, I view myself as part of nature, and that whatever is available for me from nature I should take, and whatever is to be taken away from me from nature shall be taken away. Right, I am not attached, and I'm not in anxiety and hope. Okay, I am forever at peace with what I have. I don't mind what I lose, and I don't want to gain anything more. Okay, this whole life has been a blast, and I'm really, really, really happy and enough of what I have. Okay, but most people are not like that, and religion also does not answer this question as much. While I would say the Eastern religions, it's not just because I have a knack for them, but the Eastern religions walk this path that I am in and that I agree with, which is that you have to be, content with what you have, and you have to be happy. You have to let go. You have to always be, because nature is unpredictable, and there's not much you can do. There's not much that is in control where you are the controller. So therefore it is a fool's game to think that you control everything, or there is someone, or some other higher power that is going to control them for your sake. Okay, so like you don't get something and you pray and you get it, stuff like that. So because of that, they are always constantly trying to forget and leave out everything and try their best to not get attached to anything, such that if that thing is lost, you will not be distraught or heartbroken and devastated. So they are sort of going on a fail safe, while the Western and other religions are trying their best to hook you up on hope. Okay, religion is all but hope, all right, and hope at least have some physical anchors that you can test, that you can verify, and it is on the foundation of those that hope is built. But in actuality, when it comes to faith, that is something even further ahead of hope, where there is no foundation, no clear truth, or truth rather, no clear evidence and no clear way of testing or verifying. Okay, so it is at it is beyond hopeless that you find faith. Okay, that is my description of faith. It is beyond hopeless that you find faith. So in that regard, okay, we are the only species that believe that we can take control, that we have someone who is going to take control. All right, so given this, all right, given that we view ourselves different from the rest of the species that is available, and we don't view them as equals, like every time a scientific uh, uh, every time a person who's inclined more to the scientific theory and scientific practices, all right, every time our teachers and every time our doctors and every time our you know yeah, basically doctors, right, when they try to group us with the other animals, with whatever they are talking about, okay, when it comes to medicine, when it comes to various types of testings that they do, when it comes to just our body structure, when it comes to our blood groups, when it comes to our musculature, our skeletons, okay, whatever it is, all right, whatever study that we are doing, okay, whenever we are grouped with other animals, okay, in whatever category and for whatever reasons, all right, we don't see that, we do not pick up on the fact that we are part of nature and all of this is one thing. Okay, we always try our best to say, okay, it's this branch, it's this species category, it is this we create various barriers between us and the closest relative in our animal kingdom. Okay, like we have a name for us, which is humans, and everything else is animals or insects or fish. All right, so it's us versus them. Okay, this idea is only present and only relevant if you think you are different from them. Okay, it is as if though we all assume that we are aliens living among the natural fauna and yeah, the natural fauna in this world. Okay, so why is it so prevalent? Like, where does this come from, this idea that we are aliens among this planet? Okay, so it comes from the fact that we view ourselves as different. We don't like the fact that we have to share this, you know it's all pride. Okay, it's all pride. Okay, like, what is the reason for a deer to exist? should a deer have a reason to exist? Okay, like if we go to a different, like even imagine, even when it comes to our entertainment, all right? So like imagine a fantasy land, all right, a fairy land where magical creatures exist. Okay, most of the time the symbol of honor, the symbol of what you say, the symbol of royalty, and the symbol of peace, most of these things are a big white deer, right? A magical deer with huge horns. Okay, so like it even represents innocence in some sense. So even in the fantastical realm, we still bring, okay, we still bring or else draw inspiration from what we have, and in that idea of what we have given, we have labeled the deer as a significant symbol for those key features. And wherever we are trying to get in or else create something, imagine something that is different from what we have, we still end up onto those labels. So like while you could have had a crocodile, for crying out loud, to be the symbol of that, we still looked at what we have and we saw that in the jungle, a deer is very calm, very peaceful, not going to harm anyone on its own, and often than not is hunted. So we look at that and we bring inspiration from it, and either it's a flaming deer, or it's a deer who has white hair all over, or a deer that is walking or else can fly. It's a reindeer that can fly, so Santa Claus. And all these mythical stuff we still draw from the deer. Okay, even in Harry Potter, like when it comes to the uh, what what was it, Secrets of Dumbledore, right? Yeah, Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. Even in that movie, for you to be crowned as the king of all wizards, this immaculate deer had to come to you and bow in front of you, and like that was the only way it could have been happen. Okay, so even in the fantastical realm where you could have done anything, okay, and you were not limited by anything, you still ended up using what you have. And the labels were so engraved into our brains and into our imagination that we couldn't inspire something new. And even if we brought in something new, okay, the curse of it was that because the labels are instilled in us so damn deep, if we brought something new and it does not align with the label that we already have, it's not going to work, it's not going to resonate with the audience. So therefore you are damned if you do, damned if you don't. Okay, so then in that sort of scenario, so why is it like that? Because the deer never have a deer had never asked us to consider it to be a symbol of peace, a symbol of harmony, symbol of royalty, symbol of grandeur, symbol of anything. Okay, the deer does not view itself as a symbol of anything, it's just living there. Okay, and it's trying its best to be the best version of whatever a deer is. But apart from that, the deer does not have an understanding or a clue as to what the purpose of the deer is in this natural order of things. Okay, it knows that it exists, it knows what it wants, it knows what it doesn't want, and it tries its best to live as it goes. So does a monkey think to themselves that they have a purpose, that they have a place to be, a time, a reason to exist? Do they have these mental crises where they are pondering about their existence? No, as in like they know they exist, but do they question their existence? No. May do they have a religion of sorts? Maybe, because there are behaviors that lead us to believe that they have some sort of rituals, like some bury their dead, some have rituals when a member of their group dies. When it comes to elephants, there are several very, very uh, comprehensive and complicated rituals that they go through when one of the elderly dies. And even when one of their young dies, they mourn, they have rituals, they dance, they sing. Okay, so it is not as if though the animal kingdom does not have what we have. Okay, they do, they communicate among themselves, right? They have their own rules, they have their own methods of addressing uh, crime, addressing people betraying them, their own group. Yes, there are complicated behaviors, but we somehow view them as less important, and we somehow separate ourselves, saying, yeah, but we have structures to go to and visit, like we have churches, we have mosques, we have temples, but the animals don't have, they only have markings and areas, so it's not that important. Like every time we find something common that we can match, bridge the gap, we find a bigger crater and a bigger bridge to separate ourselves rather than to connect and accept as to what and who we are. Okay, so this sense of need is only prevalent in our species, in humans, and we try to put all these fancy words as to why it exists and as to what leads to it. Okay, but the most important thing to know is that the only aspect in our life that constantly reinstates and refreshes and protects and reinforce this idea of purpose, this idea of reason to exist, is religion. Okay, science isn't going to tell us or trying to tell us as to what is our purpose, like why should we exist. Science is not trying to answer that question. You don't find mathematicians trying to find an answer to that question. You don't find motor mechanics trying to find an answer to that question. You don't find botanists trying to find an answer to that question. You don't have teachers who are trying to find an answer to that question. It is only in religion and faith and belief and studies of spirituality where you find people trying to give definitions and answers and give us meaning for that question. Okay, so for me, most part, if 99.99% of the things that are relevant to me in my life are not going to tell me, or else are not interested in trying to tell me what my purpose is and why I should exist, and only this 0.1% something, which is religion, because that is not the only thing that is happening in your life, there are so many other things. So this one thing that is trying to constantly tell you why you should exist, what is the purpose of your life, and why you have to fulfill it. Okay, that is the only thing. It is the cause for you to question the existence of yourself and why you have to find an answer, and it is also trying to be the answer as to why you exist and why you have to find your answer. Okay, so if the origin of your problem and the answer to your problem are both stemmed from this one source, then it is better to believe that the problem is the source. Okay, if the source did not exist, your problem does not exist. And since we have seen what that could lead to, what that could cause us to be, because the animal kingdom doesn't try to find an answer, but they themselves are happy and there's nothing bad happening to them. Okay, like we have no reason to question what a deer's god is. like what a deer considers its god to be, and we have no reason to believe as to should we pray to that god. Like if that god gets angry, would the dear god come and fuck me up? you know we don't question that, we don't even entertain that question. So if that's the case, then it can be said that it's just a matter of opinion, it's just a personal opinion. So if it is just a personal opinion, why are we trying to break our backs on trying to find an answer? What's the point of the answer? Okay, say for an example, all right, hypothetical, you were trying from the start of your life up until this moment to find the reason why human beings exist. Okay, and you say that god comes to you in a dream or something like that and gives you the answer. Okay, what do you think the answer might be? Or better yet, all right, what if the answer that you get, okay, is so simple and so reasonable as to why? Okay, let's give the benefit of the doubt. Okay, and that the finding out of the answer itself, the act of finding it out, is not going to you know change your life in any meaningful way at all. Okay, what do you do then? All the effort that you put into this just to find a simple thing, like you set out to find a new color. Okay, and you work hard, you do all the necessary homework and education and all these things, and you dedicate your life, and at around 95 years of age, okay, you're on your deathbed and you find a new color, and that color is a shade of black, just a shade of black. Okay, or a shade of green, shade of purple, whatever it is, whatever color it is not something new. It is always already in the spectrum. There's nothing new to be found there. But the answer was always in your face. It was a shade of purple, or black or blue, whatever it is. Okay, would you die satisfied? Would that be good enough? Be a good enough answer for you? No, right? But let's say you found an answer that is so profound, that is going to change how we believe, how we look at things and all these things. Okay, but do you think it would be enough? Do you think if we found an answer for why we exist, we will stop searching further? Do you think there wouldn't be anyone like, yeah, but why? Okay, so the answer isn't going to change us. The question isn't changing us at all, even right now. And even if we had the answer, we are not going to change at all. Okay, like we start out without the answer, so we are questioning it, we are searching for it. Then if we get the answer, we still question it, we still look for something else. So what's the fucking point? What's the point of the whole thing? There's nothing. There's no point of it. Okay, you would have been the same person if you had the answer and if you didn't have the answer as well. There's no point. All right, there's no point. Okay, nothing good and nothing bad can come from this question. Okay, and so therefore, with this understanding, we don't need to find a purpose, we don't need to have a purpose. All right, so the fact that you can be happy knowing that there is no reason for you to exist and still find meaning in life, still find a purpose to live. Okay, if you can do that, then my guy, you're the man. You are the man. Because what you have done, okay, what you have done, you have separated yourself from this foolish flock who's trying their hardest to find an answer. You have separated yourself from them, and you're living your life the way you fucking want it, because you have defined what your life is, you have given meaning to your life, and you have given a sense of purpose to your life. And because of that reason to exist, the purpose to exist, the purpose for existence in your own you know definition, you live, you strive to live. Okay, it doesn't matter if the purpose in your life is to kill other people. Okay, like if you're a terrorist and that's the purpose of your life, no problem. If you're a good person and your purpose in life is to help everyone, no problem, you do you. The fact that you even have a reason to exist, and you have given yourself that reason to exist, like you're the author of your existence, as long as that is you, you have won in life. Okay, you have won in life, because you have saved yourself from getting into that rat race, and therefore you are not a competitor. Like, you're not competing with them. Okay, you're not competing with the people who are trying to find an answer to a question that doesn't exist, or trying to find an answer for a uh, trying to answer a question where the answer doesn't exist actually. Right? So you have saved yourself. Okay, so you're one step, or else 1,000 steps closer to the finish line than everybody else is. Okay, so now that this is clear, the fact that a purpose is not something that we need, it's just something that we want, and wants do not trump needs. Okay, there are more important needs that need to be fulfilled than you try and get wasted on what you want. Okay, so because of this, unique difference that we have, okay, we have separated ourselves from nature. All right, science is not trying to disprove God. Okay, that is not the mechanism, that is not the purpose of science. Okay, no one is studying the scientific theory, or the scientific practices, or the theorems, or whatever it is. No one is going into it trying their best to disprove God. Okay, that is not what it is used for. Like, most people, when they hear the word science, think that it is the study of the Antichrist. Okay, that it is a study that is influenced by the devil. Okay, that is brought into this world to separate us from God. Okay, what I can tell you definitely is that if there is something that is one day going to give definitive proof as to whether or not God exists, okay, let's say for the benefit of the doubt, God exists, and we one day, through scientific factors and theories and all this, prove that God exists and give evidence for God's existence, and one day find the answers to all the questions that exist in the realm of spirituality, and explain it to each and everyone in such a profound way that you will feel, oh my God, science is a tool given to us by God himself to come and find him. Okay, one day will come, right? And if we do this, okay, how many times have you defiled and deposed and denied the answers that were given by science? How many times have you ridiculed the efforts? How many times have you pushed away the findings, or looked away at the results, when in actuality they were setting up a path to God? Okay, so the thing is, when you boil everything down, okay, what science actually is just a tool. Okay, think of it as a ruler. All right, you all know what a ruler is, right? So there are several types of rulers, but what we mostly use is the 6-inch one or 7-inch one. All right, so there's a ruler, that has about 7 inches, and everything is marked. Okay, so that is science, right? So whenever we want to measure something, we make use of this ruler. We see how many units are taken out, or how many units of a distance, or breadth, the gap, or the height, or the depth, whatever it is that you're trying to measure, you can measure it using the ruler. Okay, the ruler doesn't open its mouth and say, hey, this is not this, you shouldn't believe in this, like this is bad. No, 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 no. The ruler isn't doing any of it. All right, we are using the ruler to measure these things. Okay, so the ruler isn't trying to give you an answer, like the ruler isn't trying to give you the ruler's opinion. Okay, and the people who are measuring using this ruler are also not giving an opinion, they are only giving you a fact. Okay, like if you say, all right, if you say the measurement, or else the length, okay, from my chin to my navel, okay, if you say it is only about 3 feet or 4 feet, let's say you said 5 feet. Okay, so you say from my chin, if I'm standing from my chin up to my navel point, it's 5 feet long. Okay, the distance is 5 feet, you say so. Okay, so you bring a measuring tape. So this is science. All right, you bring a measuring tape, you start the tape, you keep it in your chin, you mark it there, you hold it there, and then you drag the tape down, and you measure if the distance from the chin to the navel point is actually 5 feet. Okay, and you find out that it is not 5 feet, it is only about 3 something, and not even 3 actually. Okay, let's say, let's just imagine that that's the scenario. Let's say it's exactly 3 feet. All right, now are you going to deny the answer that the ruler gave just because you don't agree with it, when it has proved beyond the benefit of the doubt that it is exactly what the ruler is trying to say? Like, if in reality the answer is actually 3 feet long, and you have somehow forced a belief onto yourself that that is actually 5 feet. Okay, is the rule at fault? Is the person who's measuring at fault? Is the whole idea of trying to measure it using a ruler is at fault? No, it is your own belief on the fact that it is somehow 5 feet, regardless of whatever reasons that you use to come to that conclusion. And it doesn't matter if your common sense or your sense of distance have always been right in all the other scenarios. Okay, it doesn't matter how many times you have miraculously guessed the exact distance between any two objects, and no matter how much of a track record it has. Okay, in this one instance, okay, this ruler proves beyond the benefit of the doubt that your sense of distance when it comes to this particular instance is wrong, at least. And you have to be so open minded and so nonchalant about it to even accept it, and even test it out yourself. Try to tweak the ruler, see if the distances change. Use a AR ruler, augmented reality ruler, to see if it is exactly as it says. Right, use a laser pointer, whatever it is you have to use, you do it, you use it. You have to use the measuring tool to measure the distance. And if all of them come conclusively to the same answer, then who's wrong? It is your opinion that is wrong. You can't argue with the system for being correct when you're the one who's holding the wrong end of the staff. So, just like that, from proving the existence, we come to understanding why it doesn't mean anything, and what science is trying to say. Okay, science has never tried to give an answer to why we exist. Okay, we can use science to find an empirical evidence, empirical rules, and profound understanding as to why humans exist. And if we want, we can even use it to give ourselves a sense of purpose, right? While I have ChatGPT open, why won't I search that? Okay, like Um can science give us a perfect answer answer as to what our purpose in life is? See, science is not trying to give us an answer. You see, science is excellent in answering questions about how things work, but it struggles with the why questions, especially those tied to meaning and purpose. Science can explain biological evolution, neuroscience, and psychology, how we came to exist, how our brains process and meaning, and how humans seek purpose. But whether there's an ultimate purpose beyond survival and reproduction, that's more of a philosophical or theological question. So you see, the question is something purely not in the realm of science. Okay, there's nothing in our life other than philosophy or theological reasoning that is going to ask the question as to what the purpose of life is, and is going to answer the question as to what the purpose of life is. It is as if though the existence of that question and the existence of that answer is not even important to our life that much. Like, we are better off without an answer. Okay, because there's nothing that we can get from finding the answer for this. Okay, so people trying to use science to answer questions about the why rather than the how, okay, is going to put science at fault because it is trying to measure something that it is not designed to measure, and whatever results that they get, they are trying to use that incorrect result as a reasoning as to why we shouldn't believe in science or we shouldn't use science. Okay, so just like in the fact that science, or as the ruler, can actually tell you what the distance from your chin to your navel is and prove you wrong, even though that can be done. Alright, the ruler can never tell you as to why you believed it to be 5 feet long when that was the wrong answer. So, what most people who believe in faith, who are defending it, try to do is that they will look at the ruler and say, well, right, all this time I was right, and this one instance where I'm using a ruler, somehow it's wrong. This is a conspiracy. All the rulers in this world are wrong in their sizes. It's a big conspiracy. The government is behind it. All right. There's the Area 51, and the Earth is flat, and we are living in a simulation. So all these conspiracy theories come together and tell us that we have to believe in God, and God says it's 5 feet. Okay. This is such bullshit. Okay. This is such bullshit. All right. For me personally, I view science as a tool. I try to use it in my day to day life. And when I find something that is not known to me personally, I will find out information about it. I will go through several sources. I will go to several points of finding the answer. And I will put all these answers together and create one common understanding for me, personally for me. And whenever someone tries and asks from me, hey bro, this shit happened to me, do you have any idea about it? If I know it, I will try to explain it to him as simply as possible. And if I can't help him, if I can't explain it to him, that means I don't have a good enough grasp about the subject. So I would gladly say, bro, I don't know. Alright, I also had the same problem. I researched about it, I read about it, but I can't seem to find a good answer. Care to join for a research? Care to join to find out what the answer is? And if we both okay and down to it, like we'll go do it. Like that is how you should do it. Like that is the most common sense way of doing it. But what does the religious people believe? They are, because we are trying to find an answer to a question that is ultimately not going to change our lives in any meaningful way. The only way to pose this question as the ultimatum, as the most, the height of questions and the height of finding answers, right? The only way to gaslight this is by making it so coveted, you know, making it so unattainable, making it so holy. All right, that's the only way to do that. So they pump it full of gases and try to put it as high as they can reach, so no one can touch it. All right, and whoever is trying to find an answer and trying to find an alternative or trying to give an alternative to you, all right, what they're trying to do is they're trying to vilify it, they're trying to wrongfully accuse it, they're trying to deny it, depose it, and defy it, and put all these bad labels on it and say, we don't want you here, we don't want to hear. Okay, that's what you say. All right, that's what you say. All right. Okay. So the best thing that I can tell you, to anyone who's listening, is that in your life, if you find something that is so far away from you, okay, so foreign to you, yet you want it so much, all right, and you try your best to get closer to it, but you come in 2 steps closer, it goes 20 steps away from you, all right, then either it's not the time for you to do it, or maybe you're not ready for it, or maybe it's just not for you. Okay, and we have a hard time accepting this, that we become slaves to this chase that is never going to give us an answer. So that is even the meaning of my YouTube channel, Bane of Grace. Okay, grace is something that we receive from God, someone holy, which is a blessing, but it's a bane because we get addicted to this blessing and we go after it, we try to find answers, but we are ultimately not happy with the answer, so we keep on enslaved and be kissing its ass. Okay, so it is the bane of grace, my channel. So with that being said, all right, we don't need a purpose, bro. You don't need a purpose to exist. The fact that you are existing is a good enough answer to that question. You are existing because you have to exist. Okay, why do you need a reason to live, bro? Why do you need someone external from you, okay, who is not you, to tell you why you exist? Why do you need that sense of validation from an external source? All right, are you not important to your family members? Are you not at least important to yourself? Like, don't you feel like you have to breathe because you want to exist? Isn't that need for you to exist that is coming from within you, is it not that important to you? Like, are you that dead, bro? Right? For me personally, a person who's happy is a person who's happy with what they feel, with what they have, with what they can do. Okay, a person who understands themselves to the core, all right, to the core, a person who understands themselves to the core has nothing else that can be offered externally that will change that man. These people are hard to enslave, hard to take over, hard to control. Okay, and religion hates people like that, and that is why it is always said, you are a sinner, you are enslaved to samsara, there's karma, whatever you do is coming back to you, you are chained to it. All these things are said to you in order to put you in place, in order to put you in a circle, in order to put you in a sort of going around and round and round, to control you. Okay, because if we let you think alone in the dark, okay, if we let you think, you will find the spark. You will find the spark. Okay, so therefore the best thing to do is not let you think, but think on behalf of you and give you the answer. Give a question, give you the answer. Give a question, give you the answer. So you don't have time to think. You say, is that so? Okay, you know, stuff like that. And when you question, you are badgered, you are beaten down, you are a hypocrite, you are a sinner, you are faithless, you are not righteous. You're sinning against God, you're questioning God, how dare you? All these things come to you. Okay, all these things come to you. All right. So don't question, no problem, don't do that. If you're afraid of doing it, don't do it, don't question, but don't stop thinking. Don't stop thinking. All right, don't stop thinking. The person who thinks, the person who thinks will find an answer. Okay, you think about the question why we exist, you will find the answer within you. The problem is that answer that is already there. This question has already been answered very, very long time ago, right? The answer is in you. You know why you exist. You know for what you exist. And you know how much time that is left for you to exist. You know the answer to these questions. Okay? It is that you are not happy with the answer. You are not at peace with the answer. So you are defying it by trying to find an answer from an external factor. The fact that you are not happy with yourself, you are not happy with where you are, the fact that you deny it is the reason why you are a slave to this external force. So as long as you hate yourself, as long as you don't like the answer that you already have, all right, you are never going to be free, my friend. You are never going to be free. All right, you are never going to be free. So what if the answer that you have is 5 more years, and the reason why I exist is because I don't know, because donuts exist and I like to eat donuts. Okay, if what if this is your answer? Okay, what meaning can you get from this answer? Okay, that might be your question, and you might say religion is offering me a better rhetoric, better answer, and therefore I like it. Okay, but dude, how can Jesus dying on a cross and therefore you exist, okay, going to be a better answer to you than what you feel inside, even though how ridiculous it sounds to you? Okay, imagine that for a minute. How can someone 2000 years ago, regardless of whether he was a god or not, all right, someone 2000 years ago dying on a cross for whatever reason, okay, saying that I'm dying for all your sins, okay, doing all these miracles and stuff like that, this magical thing that happened, this fantastical thing that happened, okay, even if proven to be true, okay, how can that trump that which you always hear when you try to listen to yourself? Okay, we are talking about something that happened 2000 years ago, regardless of how fantastical it is, and something that is happening always constantly inside you, that you can always hear, that you can touch, that you can feel, that you know is the ultimate answer. Okay, it is the fact that you are not happy with the answer, that you think that this other answer that happened somehow is going to save you. Okay, nothing is going to save you, bro. Nothing is going to save you. Nothing. Okay, nothing. The sooner we accept, all right, the sooner we accept that you don't need to have a purpose, you don't need to have a direction, you don't need to have a sense of anything. Okay, there's plenty of reasons to exist. There's plenty of reasons and purposes available for you to choose from. Okay, you can change yourself overnight. The power is in you. It is all self belief. Okay, science can, like, give you a mandate, and if you are looking for an answer through science, it can make one for you, but ultimately you don't need one. I don't need one for crying out loud, and I'm fucking happy. All right, I might have, like, once or twice a week I might get into an accident or something like that, and get a NDE, like a near death experience or something like that, but I'm doing fine. I'm not dead. I'm happy. I'm living my life. So I don't see why you need one. And I don't see why you can perform. You can't perform without needing one. Okay. It's not as if he's going to, put food in your plate and, let the dead rise again. It's not something like that. Okay. So stop the chase. Stop the rat race. Think. Yep. So I think that's it. Just voicing my mind. Anyways, see you guys in the next one. Peace out.